All right, in this lesson, we're going to continue the diagram. We have done all of it in the middle, and we have done everything on the left side, and now we're going to do on the right side. These are double angle formula and half angle formula. And let's see how we derive them. On the flow chart, we have some directions. For example, from sine to a plus b, we're going to get to sine 2 alpha. Basically, we replace a and b by alpha. Okay, so here it tells us what to do. For cosine a plus b, and we make the same assumption, we get cosine 2 alpha, we get three forms. And so first we're going to work on this piece, starting with from sine 2 alpha. Okay, so we're going to follow these directions. So let's get to that form. Okay, so we already have all of these formula, right? We have put them all together like this so far. So for sine double angle formula, we will take this piece. Okay, and this is for double angle. Double angle formulae, we have multiples, and we'll take that piece. Okay, so according to the diagram, we set A equals to B equals to alpha. So let me get my alpha. Okay, so we'll basically substitute A by alpha, B by alpha. So A and B are both replaced by alpha. So alpha replaces A, replaces A, replaces A, replaces B, replaces B, replaces B. As a result, we got sine of 2 times alpha. And on the right-hand side, we have sine alpha multiplied cosine alpha. We have 2 of them. So we have 2 times sine alpha and cosine of alpha. That's sine double angle. A common mistake, okay? A common mistake for sine alpha, okay? Common mistake. The common mistake is that sine 2x equals to 2 times sine x. This is a common, very bad mistake that was seen in calculus classes. Okay, so avoid that. You can see sine 2x equals to 2 times sine x multiplied cosine x. Okay, and the correct answer, of course, the correction will be sine of 2x, right? It's as if we replace alpha with x. So that should be equal to sine x multiplied cosine x. So that's the correction. Cosine double angle, okay? Where does a cosine double angle, how is a cosine double angle derived? Well, it's from here. Okay, so from this identity, okay, the very first identity we have proved, right? The very first identity we proved. Well, we're going to assume this is alpha, and that is alpha, right? So alpha, whoops, that's alpha. So both A and B are replaced by alpha. There. And then we ended up with cosine 2 times alpha, and that equals to cosine alpha times cosine alpha. We know that's cosine square alpha. minus sine alpha times sine alpha, that's sine square alpha. There we go. So this is one of the formula for double angle. One of them. And there are two more. There are two more. They're all very useful. Okay. The next one, we know that we know the following fact. Okay. Sine squared of anything plus cosine squared of the same thing equals to 1. And this identity is true always. So from this identity, we can derive that sine square of anything equals to 1 minus cosine square of that omega. So if we replace sine square alpha by its equal, and we will get the following. Okay, so we get a cosine square alpha. Okay, minus sine square alpha. So omega will be replaced by alpha. And we're going to replace that by 1 minus cosine square of alpha. Oops, not this, sorry. Alpha. Okay, and then we're going to open up the parentheses. So cosine square alpha minus 1 plus cosine square alpha. Combining like terms. Combining like terms, we get 2 times cosine square alpha minus 1. Okay, so this is the next formula for double angle. Okay, you can see to find cosine 2 alpha, we need, if we use the first formula, we need to find cosine alpha and sine alpha. But if we use the second formula, we only need a cosine alpha. Okay, do we have a third one? Yes, we do have a third one. On the third one, okay, we have the following. We're going to replace cosine alpha is equal to 1 minus sine square something, okay? So these are, of course, omega all turn into alpha. And this time, we're going to replace cosine square alpha by 1 minus sine square alpha. And of course, this is alpha minus sine square of alpha. Okay, open the parentheses. Open the parentheses. Remove the parentheses. We get 2 negative sine square alpha. So as a result, we get 1 minus 2 times sine square alpha. So this is the third double angle for cosine. Third one. And what's the use of them? Oh, big use, big use. Okay, these two formula are very, very useful. You'll find yourself using them even in Calc 2. Okay, so we got sine 2 alpha, that's pretty straightforward. Let's see what we can discover from cosine double angle, okay, with these two forms. Okay, so let's see where we are. We found sine double angle, cosine cosine double angle, and we're going to get these two. Okay, these two are especially useful, especially useful. Okay, so let's get there. Okay, let's see how we get them. Okay, we have cosine 2 alpha equals to 2 times cosine square alpha. From this form, we want to isolate cosine square alpha. Okay, so what we do is that we're gonna add 1 on both sides. So we're gonna add a 1 on both sides, so cosine 2 alpha. And adding 1 on the other side, we get 2 times cosine square alpha. Okay, and then we're gonna multiply half on both sides. We multiply half on both sides. Okay, so on both sides, we're gonna multiply by half. And we're gonna multiply by half. Multiply by half. And what do we get? We get cosine square alpha is equals to half of that. Okay, so this is one of the ways you can write it. Okay, some people like to write it this way, which is also fine. Okay, so they're gonna put it 1 plus cosine 2 alpha divided by 2. Okay, in the future, we're gonna see examples using this formula. You can see on the left-hand side, the power is 2. On the right-hand side, the power is 1, right? So this formula can be used to reduce power. Okay, so this formula can be used to reduce power. So double angle formula, from double angle formula, we got one of these. Okay, and we're certainly getting another one. And this other one is from here. So cosine 2 alpha, double angle, is equals to 1 minus 2 sine squared of alpha. So this time we're solving for sine square of alpha. Okay, let's see how we do it. Okay, so there are multiple ways to do it, but this is how I'm going to do it. Okay, I'm going to add 2 times sine square alpha on both sides. Okay, or let's see which way is easier for you to understand. Okay, so let me do this. I'm going to subtract 1 on both sides. Okay, I'm going to subtract 1 on both sides. Okay, so minus 1 on both sides. So minus 1 on both sides. So minus 1 on both sides. Okay, minus 1 on both sides. As a result, negative 1 and positive 1 make 0, right? And then we're going to divide both sides by negative 2 or multiply by negative half. Okay, multiply by negative half. Or let's do another thing, right? Well, we take one more step. I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 1. Okay, multiply both sides by negative 1. If I multiply both sides by negative 1, every term change sign. So this becomes positive 2, and this becomes negative, and this becomes positive. With the positive, we don't have to write it there. Okay, so if this makes it easier to see. We multiply both sides by negative 1 from this step to the next one. And then we divide it by 2. Now we divide by 2. Okay, so we got sine squared of alpha equals to 1/2 of 1 minus cosine 2 alpha. Okay, we can just use parentheses, remove the bracket, or if you like, you can write it this way. Okay, you can write 1 minus cosine 2 alpha all over 2. That will work too. Okay, so this is the other very useful formula. Okay, so now, so far, we got all of these. We got all of these. Okay. Now, it's about half angle formula. Half angle formula. I think I'm going to do a separate lecture on the half angle. Okay. Because it might take a little bit longer, but we're going to start from here. Okay, we're going to start from there. I will see you in the next recording. Thank you for watching.